Hello again, this is L8N. We have kind of a triple header today. We have Xetar puooooty, and then we have jazzy, but the headline is cookie. This is part 2 of the ZX and cookie pull up. Anyway, I'm sure that we all pretty much know what happened here, but I'm here to kind of break down my evaluation of it. And first of all, Cookie going to ZX's house. I'm going to say, like I did with Jazzy, was wrong to do. I mean, I understand why they did it, but it's still wrong. Shouldn't have done it. But going on from that, ZX coming out with a gun in his hand, I would have done the same thing. Especially at 4:30 in the morning. And I want to make this clear too, that Pennsylvania does not have the castle doctrine. No, they don't. They have laws close to it, but not the castle doctrine. Now, from what I took it and went and saw, is that, if they're breaking into your house, you can do something about it. But coming up and ringing a doorbell, no, that doesn't fall in that category. And that's pretty much the same thing I said about when Jazzy went to Lady Law's house. Still wrong, but there's still nothing you can do about it. But even with that said, moving on, as far as I can tell, he had the weapon in his hand, gun, but he never pointed it at her. And I'll give him credit for that. He never pointed it at her. But listening to some of what Cookie said, and she brought up some good points. I'm not doing all my notes in order, and some of this might jump back and forth. So please try and take this in the way that I'm trying to present it. But anyway, him talking sexually with a gun in his hand, yeah, I don't care who you are, you don't do that. I don't care if you know the person or not, especially when you're confronting somebody. You can't do that. And I must admit, Cookie pointing out that in Pennsylvania that's a crime very well could be. I don't know. I don't know enough about Pennsylvania law to make that judgment. But common sense would tell you that would be wrong. You go out there to confront somebody, you don't start talking the sexual stuff with them. So, and then there were some other things that ZX kind of left out on the video that I saw, like him following her down the street with the gun in his hand. Now, as long as you're, at your house and on your property, I don't have a problem with it. It's when you walk off the property and following somebody with it that starts having problems. Now, I waited until today because there was still information coming in that I was trying to research and trying to find. And it started out that I was kind of in ZX's corner on this until some other things come to light. And that's why I don't always just jump right in and just do my reactionary opinion on stuff sometimes, is that I'll wait until stuff comes in. And I was also waiting to see if ZX was going to take and say anything about this. And he hasn't done that as of the time of me making this video, which I would say at this point in time was probably a good thing. And then he took down a bunch of videos. Well, I hope that he still got them and got them archived. Because at this point, it's looking like ZX is in a lot of trouble. You see, even in my research, Pennsylvania is the 11th most restrictive on guns. So ZX should have been walking a really fine line of what he was doing. Now, confronting somebody at your house instead of calling the police, now I would have done that, but I wouldn't have went to the extremes that he did. But in the end, he should at least called the police and said that I have somebody here that's stalking me. I need you to come and do something about it. Now, with that being said, Cookie, you were wrong for even going there. Now, I get why you went there, because you were trying to get him to stop. And, you were pissed off that he was, you sent him a cease and desist letter, which, again, I don't even care if an attorney took and served you with a cease and desist letter. Makes no difference. You were trying to do this legally. Going to his house was not going to help your case at all. But I will tell you this. In the end, now, what he did, now that's going to help the prosecuting, because he was wrong. And then he lied about it to the police officers, I guess, that he didn't have a gun. And that's problematic. Just like police officers, all this stuff between getting recording and people admitting to stuff always comes to light. Always. If you lie about something, especially to a police officer, that's a crime. ZX. So, anyway, now, the reason why Jazzy's there is because rather Cookie was doing this for Jazzy or collaborated, which it wasn't no collaboration. But Jazzy was the reason why this happened. Jazzy is responsible for this, whether she wants to admit it or not. And my advice to Jazzy is she needs to be the one to cease and desist about these foolish little games about going around because people have messed with your life. You go into people's houses and stuff and messing with them is way different than making phone calls and messing with somebody's life. Somebody's going to get hurt. Whether it's you, Jazzy, or the person that you're going after. And you wanting to think that you're smarter than the law and you got all this figured out. No, you don't. And you got all these different angles. Well, you might have all these different angles, Jazzy. It only takes one little fuck up. And it all goes to shit. That's all it takes when you're playing this stupid little game of yours, Jazzy. And I heard part of your stream that you did when you threw Cookie under the bus. Somebody that supported you, even when everybody else was going against you. Cookie supported you. Again, you could have handled this differently, but you always choose not to do that. This is all going to come back to bite you in the ass, Jazzy. That's what it's going to do. But Cookie, even though that I don't agree with what you did, you still went and did it. ZX got himself in trouble. And all this bullshit that he's been saying, and I've been saying, that, he's been talking to all these people, and I always figured that it was bullshit. You're pretty much confirming that it was. And I'm really hoping that your part in this is not completely bullshit. And maybe ZX going to jail, if that's what happens, maybe he'll finally realize that he's not quite the father figure that he thought he was. And I still call everybody that's involved in this, they're all wrong. Every one of them. Jazzy is the biggest one. ZX is the second one. And Cookie, I think you get caught up in something and you're starting to figure it out that you shouldn't have been there. But whatever the outcome is, I never wish bad on anybody. Because this could have ended real badly. Especially with ZX bringing the gun in there like he did. And the other thing too is that ZX as much bullshit and everything that you want to blow up people's ass, and you definitely have at least 2 convictions that been shown to me. How you ended up with a gun because you've been violent towards police officers is beyond me. Especially the way the new laws and the way people are looking at stuff, you shouldn't have one. But in either case, we will see how this all plays out. So anyway, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and as always, definitely, most definitely, leave a comment. This is L8N, signing out.